What's up, everybody? We are back here at the Fryar place where the conversations are fire. I'm Irving Fryar, the host here at the Fryar place. I see a couple of people already on. I guess you must be waiting for us to come on tonight. That's awesome. That's awesome. Y'all come on in the room, acknowledge yourselves. I see a few folk on right now, but I don't see you in the comments. Listen, write something in the comments so I can see who you are, so we can acknowledge you and shout out to you. All right. Listen, I don't want you to forget. Yes, we're live on the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and if there is a 5th Friday of the month, we are live right here in the studio here at the Fryar place. But you also know we have created this or joined into this new venture with the Cigar Code at 939 North Delaware Avenue in Philadelphia. And every first Friday of the month, the Fryar place is live in Philadelphia with a live guest, yes, and a live audience at the Cigar Code from 6 to 7 p.m. every first Friday. New venture. We're trying to take this thing to the next level. Gary Wright, I see you. I see my mama. My mama is in the house tonight. God bless you, mama. We were supposed to go on a date today, but it's snowing today, and we ain't going out in the snow. It's cold outside, too. Y'all come on in the room. Good to see you. Good to have you. We have another great guest. You know, Keith Jackson was our guest last week, a former teammate of mine. I have another former teammate of mine who's come in the room today. I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait for you to hear from him. I'm not going to prolong the program any longer. I couldn't get any film on him because they got it all on lockdown. That's how special he is. The internet has it all on lockdown, so I couldn't bring it and transfer it and put it, convert it into a MP4 format and put it on the show. That's because he's that special. So I'm going to bring him in the room right now. Listen, I want to introduce him real quick. His name is Keith Byars. Yes, he's a 1986 first-round draft choice out of Ohio State running back. He was a running back, tailback actually in college. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was drafted to the Eagles in 1986. Played for the Miami Dolphins. Played for the New England Patriots. 1 year with the New York Jets. Then he retired. 13 years in the NFL. 3,109 yards rushing. 610 yards receiving or 610 receptions, I should say, for 5,661 yards. Yeah. NCAA rushing and scoring leader. College Football Hall of Fame in 1984. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Was that in 1984, you college football? No, in 2020. He was NCAA rushing. I'm getting it right, Keith. I'll get it right. NCAA rushing and scoring leader in 1984. Inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2020. Fullback and tight end. Look, played two positions in the NFL. Tailback in college. Second in the Heisman running in 1984 behind Doug Flutie. I played with both these cats. 1,764 yards, 22 touchdowns. School record. 274 yards in one game. 5 touchdowns in that same game versus Illinois. This was his junior year. In a comeback game, they were down 24-0. And this cat, 5 touchdowns, 274 yards. The fourth TD, it was a 67-yard run, and he only had one shoe on. About 40 yards into it, he only had one shoe on. Big Ten MVP, y'all. My friend, my brother, Keith Byars is in the house. Y'all give him a hand clap.
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you too, man. Hand clap. There's a hand clap. Yay! I'll get those stats right, man. Good Lord. A lot of stats, right, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm like you. I got snow here in Ohio. I'm here in Ohio, hometown.
I know you're back in Ohio,
this morning,
yeah.
It was 4 inches of snow.
4?
I had to get the shovel out. I got 2 dogs. And I had to shovel a pathway for them to do their business in the morning. So
wow.
That's how my day started.
People don't realize, I said because this is the second time it snowed here in the last week. We got like 3 inches a few days ago, or 2 inches a few days ago, and we're supposed to get it's raining not raining, but snowing significantly here now. So we're probably going to get somewhere around 4 inches. And we shovel our own snow. People, I said that to somebody the other day, and they're like, "You shovel your own snow?" Yeah, I shovel my own snow. We're people just like you. We're not these modern day athletes that are making $250 million, have $250 million contracts. That's not happening with us. Billy Bell, I see you in the house, man.
Shovel snow.
yeah, clean the car off, shovel snow, all that stuff, man.
The whole 9 yards.
So, bro, how you doing, man? How have you been? It's been a long time since I've talked to you. I saw you at a golf tournament a few months ago, but how's it going in life right now for you?
It's going good, and being former athletes, one thing that I always say about football brings a lot of people together, but it should never tear you apart. I mean, me and you became teammates in Miami back in 1993, even though we knew each other prior to that time. But we were teammates, but nothing has ever torn us apart. And when you have a true Benyon bond with guys, it just never goes away. I mean, I can go 2, 3, 4, 5 months without talking to you. Right. And then when I see you, it's like I saw you yesterday walking up the block. We just pick right back up where we left there, because when you've been through some things with a guy, you spent time on the gridiron with all those blood, sweat, and tears. Those moments, that's a deep bond and a fellowship, that you have with one another. And I know they're in Philadelphia, but for me, being in Philadelphia, that was a continuation of that football bond that goes beyond any organization. And so once you play in Philadelphia, that's the nickname is the city of brotherly love. And, I have a lot of brothers, from that connection or that branch of being in Philadelphia. I know you had Keith Jackson on the show last week. Yeah. And when we were in Miami together, we'd be in a huddle, and there's 3 Keiths in the huddle: Keith Byars, Keith Jackson, Keith Sims.
Keith Sims,
so you come in the huddle, hey, Keith, you get 3 answers, huh? What? Which Keith were you talking to?
And all 3 Keiths were Pro Bowlers, man. We had a squad down there. We just couldn't stop anybody on defense. We're going to talk. I'm going to come to that later on in the show about that season. We were 9-2. 11 games into the season and didn't win a game after that whole slide. We're going to talk about that in a little while and kind of equate that to what the Eagles have gone through, which was, just because we played on both teams. Yeah, that I'm sure you heard it. I'm sure you followed it. I'm sure you saw it. I'm sure you have an opinion about it. And your opinion is based on your experience in the NFL. Gary Wright, Cheryl Williams, we got a bunch of folk on tonight, KB. My goodness, they ready for you, man. There's a whole bunch of folk on tonight. Listen, we got some stuff in common. But, not only did we play together in Miami, but you played for the Patriots. Obviously, you played for the Eagles. And I played for the Patriots, the Eagles, and then the Dolphins. I mean, you played for the Jets. I played for Washington. But, man, I did my little research on you.
3 of the 4 teams we played with each other. Huh?
Yeah, 3 of the 4 teams. And watch this now. You played in the Super Bowl, correct? And in that Super Bowl, you caught a touchdown, or you scored a touchdown, I should say. You scored a touchdown. Did. The same with me. I played in the Super Bowl with the Patriots. You
scored the lone touchdown for the Patriots in that Super Bowl.
The only touchdown. So we got a lot in common in terms of football. Wow. I didn't know that. But you came out of Ohio State. You born in Ohio, raised in Ohio, went to Ohio State, and played you were phenomenal as a college football player. Your junior year, you had you just busted out your junior year. Second in the Heisman Trophy ballot behind Doug Flutie. We know how awesome he was.
They didn't have in 1984. I didn't finish second. They just gave it to a guy. Because the real winner, you're talking to the real winner. They didn't give me
Okay, tell me that story.
I didn't finish second.
Let me hear that story. I never heard this before. I never heard you say that before. Tell me the story. What's the story behind that? Because Doug Flutie walked out with the trophy.
Second. I didn't finish second. They just gave it to that guy.
Okay. All right.
It was the Hail Mary pass.
Well, yeah, we know about the Hail Mary.
It was the Hail Mary pass.
To Gerard
Thanksgiving weekend. No, that was Thanksgiving weekend. Mm-hmm. And in the Big Ten, we didn't have a bye week. Right. We played 11 straight games. So our season ended the weekend before Thanksgiving. Okay. And so that game against Boston College and Miami, that was the weekend after our season was over, the Big Ten. We're Rose Bowl champions. We're Big Ten champions going to the Rose Bowl. And with my resume that year, dude.
Oh, you balling, man.
I said
1,700 yards?
A running back had won the Heisman Trophy from 1973, John Cappelletti, to 1983, your teammate, Mike Rozier, was all running backs.
Right.
And the previous quarterback to win the award was 1971, Jim Plunkett.
Okay.
1972 was Johnny Rogers from Nebraska.
And he was a wingback.
And he's a wingback. He played
right, but he's still back. Still a back. Yeah.
Back. Yeah. And then 84 is not a running back. And I led the nation in the best conference in the country. The Big
right.
Ten.
You're right.
College was independent. Big Ten champion, led the nation in all-purpose yards, rushing, and touchdowns. And they decided to give it to a quarterback. And since their 1984, more quarterbacks have won the award since the running back.
They decided to do that when he threw that pass.
Like him, 5'7", they saw themselves in one freaking Hail Mary pass. And I used to tease my ex-teammate, love you, God rest his soul, Jerome Brown. I said, Jerome, all those sacks you had in college, you took that play off?
Wow, yeah, sack the cat.
You took that play off. You took that play off. And all the DBs that played for Miami, y'all couldn't bat down a Hail Mary freaking pass? Bat the ball down.
Wow.
So that's why the trophy's not in my back, over my shoulder.
Because of one play. Because of one play.
And I don't watch the Heisman Trophy ceremony anymore. I was there in New York.
You boycotting the Heisman Trophy? You boycott it.
I boycott it every year. Since 1984, I've been boycotting.
Boy, this is something I didn't know about you, bro.
Next year too.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm going to start boycotting it too. Doggone it.
Yeah, boycott it. You're going to find out who won anyway. You don't need to watch the ceremony.
And the cat who caught that ball, his name was Gerard Phelan, because Gerard Phelan ended up coming to New England that next year, and he lasted in training camp. I think he was there maybe 4 days. He ran. He was there 4 days, and he ran an out route. Yeah, he ran an out route, which was, and nobody was covering him. He just ran an out route. It was in warm-ups. He ran an out route, about a 10-yard out route, and I guess he planted his foot the wrong way, and he blew his knee up. Nobody even touched him, and he never played it down. Never played it down in the NFL.
Never even got to a preseason game.
Never even got to a preseason. He was like 4 days in the training camp. I remember him running that route vividly in my mind. He ran an out route by himself. Nobody even touched him on the grass. He cut and blew his knee up and never touched the field in an NFL game, not even preseason game. He was done. Because back then they don't fix knees back then, or didn't fix knees back then like they can now. He was done. He was done. And apparently they had high hopes for him. But yeah, man, we got a lot of games.
We don't have enough time, but I got you.
we don't have enough time. But here's what I want to know, because this is very interesting to me, because again, my story is very interesting. I was a first round draft choice as well, but I was drafted as a wide receiver. I was a wingback, KB. I didn't play wide receiver. So my one-on-ones every day in practice were blocking linebackers in a three-point stance and blocking defensive ends in a three-point stance. I never ran routes against defensive backs. I was a part of the route combination in games, but it's not something that I practiced. I just went to a certain area, and
you never isolated on a corner or a safety.
No. I just went to a certain area. I was supposed to run a post, I ran a post. If I was supposed to run a cross, I ran a cross. If I was supposed to run a go, I ran a go. If I was supposed to run a slant, I ran a slant. And if I was open, Turner would hit me with the ball. No, I didn't read any defenses. I just ran what I was supposed to run. That was in the route combination. So when I got to New England as a rookie, man, I'm like, okay, I don't even know how to do this. I had to watch and learn Stanley Morgan run routes and learn how to get off a bump and run, all that kind of stuff. You had a kind of a similar situation. You were tailback in college. You come into the pros, you're running tight end and you're running fullback. But your rookie year, you hadn't gone through any training camp because you had gotten hurt your senior year. You only played 4 games your senior year, right? And
parts of 4. Yep.
Yeah, and you come in after rehabbing, you really didn't go through training camp. You hadn't played it down, but you start the first game. Yeah. How did you handle that, man? What were you thinking? What were you going through in your mind? Because, you didn't know. You hadn't gone through training camp. You hadn't gotten acclimated to the level or the speed or the strength of what was going on with certain players. How were you ready for that moment?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't really have a short answer. But the answer,
you don't have to be short, bro. I don't want a short answer. I want a long answer. I'm gonna give you the whole screen. There you go.
Well, it goes back to a lot of different ways. It was probably goes back to pre-college, but it was probably it's about 15 years ago. I had a conversation with ex-Ohio State coach Jim Tressel, and Jim Tressel, we were down in Florida, and he said, Keith, you remember when I came to Ohio State? And he came to Ohio State in the winter of 1984. He had been at Syracuse prior to that as a wide receiver quarterback coach. And so when he came to Ohio State, they named him the quarterback running back coach at Ohio State. That's a combination I never heard of. You probably never heard of that.
No, never heard of it.
Quarterback wide receiver coach. Well, the quarterback coach, but not the quarterback running back coach. But that was his title his first year at Ohio State. And he said, Keith, you probably don't remember that first spring practice. That first spring that I was there, you got a lot of reps because you're coming off. You were all Big Ten as a sophomore,
right?
Second team All-American, expecting big things out of you your junior year. But you got a lot of reps.
Right.
And he said that summer after spring, the head football coach, Earl Bruce at Ohio State at the time, pulled me in his office and he said, Jim, you know why why I hired you to make you the quarterback running back coach? He said, no, not really. He said, that's a combination you don't see a lot, but for one reason, and he said, that's because Keith Byars. So he said, Keith wants to be great, and he needs a coach who's going to get the most out of him. And he said, because that's what he's looking for. He wants to be a great. He said, because Tressel said, because Keith, every time you got a lot of reps in that spring practice, more than you should have, because when you wasn't in there getting reps, you were in my ear asking me questions, what's going on, and I didn't always have the answer. Most time I didn't have the answers.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, you take the rep, because get away from me. Because, I didn't know much about the running game.
He was trying to keep you from embarrassing him, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, he's going to challenge me every day.
Wow.
And he said, man, you made me learn how important the running game was, and you helped make me a better coach. And I had no idea I was doing it. I've just always been a seeker after knowledge. And what I was always taught to pay attention to the plays. Which play, what are we doing? I want to not know what I do. I want to know what you do and what everyone else around you does. So I said that part of the story to bring you back to Philadelphia. How did I start the first game? Because I was hurt all through training camp. I was still rehabbing.
Right.
But
because you were hurt. You got hurt your senior year. I got hurt
my senior year of college.
Actually, 3 times you got hurt this senior year.
Yeah. Well, I broke my foot before the season started.
Right. Then you came back and you hurt it again 2 games in.
And then you have bone graft surgery.
And then you hurt it again the bowl game.
Right. But I should never played. It was still
right. Right.
And so by the time I got, went through the surgery, long rehab, get drafted, go through training camp. And I'm really only thing I do at training camp is go to practice and pay attention. And then when I'm not at practice twice a day, I'm rehabbing with Otho Davis, the famous Philadelphia Eagle trainer. But I paid attention in the meetings. So I didn't get cleared to practice full speed till the week of the first game.
Wow.
And Buddy Ryan was asking questions. Does he know this? And the head offense coach, yeah, he does. Let me see him do. Does he know that? He does. Because I took every mental rep.
Right.
So the only thing I didn't do was have physical reps.
Right, right.
So first game of the season, if I Washington, put him in there, we're going to start him. And, I played.
Wow.
So I was mentally prepared, not physically. Prepared. So
that's very well. You probably were as physically prepared as the athletes in professional football are now when it goes into the first game, because they don't do nothing in training camp. Not a thing. They can't even have 2 days in a row. They got to they can only have 4 days in pads in training camp or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's maybe only 4 2-a-days.
Is it only 4 2-a-days? I know there's 4. Yeah. I know there's 4 something, but the 2-a-days are not 2-a-days.
And the 2-a-days cannot be back to back.
Yeah, and the 2-a-days are not 2 practices. One's a walkthrough, and the other one's a practice. They can't.
You're gonna give me nightmares. I think of some of the stuff we went through in Philly.
Bruh, good Lord. Yeah.
Say, for example, if we started training camp say we reported on Thursday, and our first practice was on Friday. Say we report on Thursday, we did some physicals on Friday, and the first practice 2-a-day was on Saturday. You wasn't getting a day off until the following Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So that was 8 straight days of 2-a-days.
Yeah, well, no days off. Shoot.
And it was, with full practice.
2-a-days, 2.5, 3 hours, full pads. That's right. Both practices. Yeah.
Practices to the ground.
Wow.
I don't know how he did it.
You mentioned Buddy Ryan a couple of times. Take us back, because you had a great career. 13 years, Philly, Miami, New England, and the Jets. Great career. But take us back to the beginning again, coming into the league, because you were hurt your junior year. You only played 4 games your junior year. Senior year, I'm sorry. Had a great year your junior year, and your senior year, you only played 4 games. So you were hurt when it was draft time. But yet you got drafted in the first round, man. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy, because that wouldn't happen today. It just would not happen today. And then I heard that Buddy Ryan wrote you off as a medical reject because you were hurt. There was talk about you going to the Cincinnati Bengals because you're in Ohio. There was talk about you going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Talk about that draft day, man, and what transpired and how you ended up with Buddy Ryan after calling you a medical reject in Philadelphia.
Well, that's when coaches had more authority of who they were going to draft in, the general manager and the owner. And so when Buddy had total control of things of that nature, and Buddy, I had never met Buddy Ryan prior to being drafted by him, but Buddy done his homework about who I was and my background and all that. He did his due diligence. And so I was, like you said, I had surgery, bone graft surgery on my foot in January of 1986. I didn't get out of that cast until about 2 weeks before the NFL draft. I didn't even go to the combine. Back in those days, I don't know where the combine was when you came out of college, but it was in New Orleans instead of Indianapolis, where it is now.
Well, they had 2 of them. They had one in New Orleans. They had one in Indianapolis. They had 2 of them. They had 2 combines.
The year you came out.
The year I came out, they had 2 of them. One in New Orleans and one in Indianapolis.
Right. So the combine was in New Orleans, and I was like, I'm not coming to the combine. I just got out of the hospital. I'm not coming down to the combine to walk around the French Quarter on crutches. And they was like, I can't work out. So they was like, well, we can just interview you and we get to know the coaches. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming. So I didn't go. I did not go. And then,
you know what? That's something else we got in common, KB.
You didn't go to the combine either?
No, I went to the I only went to one of them. I went to the one in New Orleans, but they told me, don't do anything. All I did was get a physical. I didn't run. I didn't lift. I didn't do any of that.
You didn't do anything. I'm here. Come meet me. Shake hands with me.
Well, that's what they told me. They said, no, you don't have to do anything. They said, you don't need to do anything.
So
that's crazy, but I didn't know we had that much in common, bro.
I refused to go. And then let's go back to the previous spring. We had what they would call them today pro days.
Right.
So the pro scouts came to Ohio State to get 40 times on
they did that with us too,
senior class.
Yeah, they did that with us.
And I ran 340s that day. The first 40 I ran a 4.5 flat. The next 40 I ran was a 4.43. And the next 40 I ran was a 4.48. And the scouts were like, what time y'all have on this guy? They
hit
didn't know how fast
they hit the clocks. They hitting the clocks like, what's wrong with this clock?
Because they was like, you remember the way I ran. I don't have the high knees. Like,
no, you scoot, man. I call you Skippy. Scooter. Call you Scooter.
And they couldn't believe I ran that fast because they said he has the most deceptive speed than we've ever seen. And Earl Bruce said, do you ever see him get ran down? Do you ever see him?
He's run down. Right. Yeah.
And so I had that, so y'all want to see, y'all know how fast I am.
Right.
I'm not slow. I'm a big guy, but I get to from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So you lead up to the draft. I had visited, it's 28 teams when we came into the NFL. People they forget that. We came in, it was only 28 teams.
Right. Not
I
32.
visited 21 of 28 teams in a 10-day period.
Wow.
I was on a world tour going from this, doing the same thing. And my last city that I went to, team I went to was Pittsburgh Steelers. And while I was in Pittsburgh, the Eagles called and said, we know Keeper's in Pittsburgh. Time to get on the plane. We're going to fly him to Philadelphia. Our doctors want to see him. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the Monday before the draft. The draft was on Wednesday. And I said, no, I'm going home. I'm tired. I'm wore out. The draft was in a couple of days. The Eagles don't pick till 10. The Steelers pick at 9. They're going to probably take me if I'm still there. The Bengals pick at 11. They said if I'm there, they're going to take me. And I don't know if I want to play for that wild guy that just come out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Buddy Ryan, he's a maniac, man. I don't think I want to go to Philadelphia. So I told him I wasn't coming. Now, then that Monday night, Buddy Ryan has a radio show. That's when Buddy Ryan called me a medical reject. They asked, what about Byars? If he's there, he's a medical reject. We don't want him. Everybody got scared. I had never even been to Philadelphia. They never saw me. But that was Buddy Ryan.
That's crazy.
Playing game.
Yeah.
Slide down in the draft.
Right.
So he can get me a 10.
Right.
So when the Steelers draft John Reister, a tackle out of Temple University, no sooner than Pete Rozelle called John Reister's name and walked away from the podium, my telephone is ringing. And it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
And Buddy Ryan, so they didn't need 15 minutes. So no sooner they get the name on the card, they walk back up, and they made their announcement. The Philadelphia Eagles select Keith Byars. And then I was on an airplane to Philadelphia, and Buddy Ryan called me, you're my franchise. I wanted you all along. You're my guy.
So Buddy was playing games. He's playing games. So playing draft games, I should say.
Right, and Buddy told me I was the only player that he drafted in the first round that he didn't talk to. He said, prior to drafting him. He said, I didn't need to talk to you. I had already done my homework on you. Everybody said, Keith Byars, because Buddy was a great character guy. He was a great judge of character and talent. So he said, I knew what your talent was.
Wow. Think about that. Everybody who's watching right now, think about who we have on the show right now. And they run up one side and down the other when it comes to these players and talking to them and looking into their background and making sure they're healthy and examining them. And here Keith Byars didn't go see anybody. He's injured, coming off of surgery, coming off of rehab, and is drafted in the first round. That just speaks to what kind of talent, because you didn't play that much your senior year. No. That was all projected from your junior year and what you accomplished in your junior year. And that's how much he exploded. That's how exciting he was. That's how explosive he was his junior year, that even his senior year when he got hurt and only played 4 games at Ohio State, man, he was drafted. Y'all don't know how crazy and how unique that is, whether it's back then in 1986 or today in 2024. That's just unheard of, man. That is unheard of. Yeah. And then you still were getting it in too. By the time we got to Miami, we all had some years in the league together. At that time, we had all been playing for a little while. Me a little bit longer than the rest of y'all. But myself, yourself, Keith Jackson. We brought in O.J. McDuffie that particular year when I got there, and man, we were getting it in down there. We had a good time, man. It was great. That everybody
we
asked.
The game.
Oh yeah, and we loved.
That
was
the thing. We all love the game. Didn't like
but we loved each other though too. We had a unique relationship amongst ourselves. Our little, not, I wouldn't say a clique, but we had brothers who were people of faith, who loved God, who loved the game, and we cared about one another. Genuinely cared about one another. We all had talent. There wasn't enough balls. We didn't have any problems with anybody getting balls and I'm not getting catches or I'm not getting my touches. None of that. We didn't have none of that. We played and we enjoyed playing with one another.
Somebody score a touchdown, you can't beat us to the end zone. We're gonna jump on you. You gotta look out. You might get hit too hard. We excited for you.
Yeah, man, we loved it. We loved playing with you. And something I didn't know, Darren Doc Thomas is in the house. Cheryl Williams is in the house. Gary Wright's in the house. Billy Bell's in the house. My mom's in the house. Who else is here? Vincent Capriati is in the house. Yeah. Keith said hi, Mom. Pastor Howard Taylor's in the house. Alvin Oakman, all the way in the state of Washington, is in the house. Cheryl Williams, Vincent Capriati. Stu Winrow is in the house. Y'all just, thank you. Y'all are just supporting the brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. One thing I didn't know, talk to me about, because I did some research on you, obviously. I didn't need to do a whole lot of research. You know, I did research on K-Jack last week, and it went out the window. We just were talking and talking and talking, man. We had a good time.
Did K-Jack tell you him and Leslie O'Neal was on the same team growing up as kids?
No, he didn't tell me that.
They grew up together.
I
think K-Jack was the quarterback and Leslie was.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
K-Jack was the quarterback? Wow.
Yeah, Leslie O'Neal, the defensive end that just killed people.
Yeah, he kills people. So what I didn't know about you, I mean, I knew you were a man of faith, but I didn't know your daddy was a preacher, man. It's third generation. Your daddy's daddy was a preacher, man.
Yeah, my father and my
I didn't know that, man. Listen, talk to me about, or talk to the people about growing up in Ohio, growing up in a household, being a PK. You're not just KB. You're a PK.
PK.
What was that like, man?
PK. Oh man, it was great. It was great. I mean, my father grew up in Pittsburgh, and so a lot of Byarses are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But grandfather migrated there from Alabama. Mm-hmm. So that's where our southern roots come from, Alabama. So my grandfather was a pastor at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Library, Pennsylvania. And so my father grew up under that. Mm-hmm. And then when my father met my mom, they get married and have 5 kids. Late in the 60s, like 68, 69, my father accepted the call in the ministry. Mm-hmm. So I'm 5-6 years old at that time. And so I grew up, with I remember when my father accepted the call in the ministry and being a minister, and he was associate pastor at our church. Mm-hmm. So that's all I knew as a kid of, it's Sunday, we're going to be at church all day.
Yeah.
We got to go to Sunday school. Mm-hmm. We're going to be at a morning service. 3 out of 4 Sundays a month. We're going to be afternoon service and night service.
Yes, sir.
It's surprising how I was able to squeeze in some NFL football in between. Hey, get dressed, about to go to church at 3:30 service. But nonetheless, it was great. I mean, so I accepted Christ at a very early age, mm-hmm. In life. And that has been, the difference maker for me, and a great deal of my success mm-hmm. comes from my, strength, from the Lord in my relationship, and never, been ashamed, to share, mm-hmm. My faith. Matter of fact, I spoke at my church last Sunday. We had a man church.
Are you preaching now? Are you preaching now?
No, I'm not preaching per se, but I'm still an ambassador. I'm a disciple. Lord said, go out and tell the world who mm-hmm. I am. So I don't necessarily have to have the collar on to do that.
No, you don't need the collar.
I don't need the collar, No. So I still go out there and share, how good the Lord has been, to me and to others, and how, not just, be a difference maker. Mm-hmm. How much difference maker on the football field? You got to make a difference off the field too.
Right. How much different? I mean, how different is it? Now, I was just talking to somebody about, and I almost said what you said verbatim about how when I was growing up, we lived right next door to the church. Actually, the house I grew up in now belongs to the church that I grew up in, and it's an annex. They use it as an annex. But yeah, when I grew up, it was Sunday morning church. It was, Sunday school, youth choir. Every Sunday, at least almost, it seemed like every Sunday, we were either in the afternoon service or a night service at our church with some other church coming, or we were at somebody else's church as a guest church. Yeah. And it was normal. It wasn't something that we complained about. It wasn't something that we were upset about. That's just the way things were, and that was who we were. But how different it is now. It's different now. And I know COVID kind of changed things for churches right now. But when you talk about, your relationship with God and what God requires of us in terms of serving him, it's just different now. Even with older Christians, talk about that a little bit, and how that, has just, not tainted Christianity, but how we have to deal with Christianity in the church and, like you said, serving God in a different way now. And not to say it's better or worse, but it's just different now.
Yeah, you do have to difference or just evolved, evolve and change with Jesus' message. He met people where they were.
Right.
He didn't have an edifice. Hey, y'all come here. I'll be a preacher every Sunday.
Right.
Where I am, there you shall be also.
Right.
So you take the message, to the people. You got me thinking. I remember when I was a kid, or youngster, kid now. When I was 16 and 17, I played baseball. I was a 4-sport athlete. And on Sunday, my 16-year-old team, it was a travel team, and we would have we played twice a week. We play on Wednesday and Sunday, but Sundays were double headers. And the first game on Sunday was at 12:30. And most
that wasn't working.
Start at 11.
Yeah, that wasn't working.
But my father, but I'm saying he let me do it. But you ain't missing church,
right?
I still had to come to church, and the game is at 12:30. You can make it there. I could leave church early at 12:10. I would have my you got 20 minutes. And so I guess I got to warm up. I have to sprint to the baseball park.
Wow.
Y'all know I'm coming. I won't be, y'all know. And then, I always got there then because it's a double header.
Right.
But I was like, where are your priorities?
Right.
I just, so that's what it was. So it just reminded me of that. But you have to be adaptable. Now, the church that I attend, we have 4 services, one on Saturday and 3 on Sunday.
Wow.
You ain't that busy. You got to figure out sometimes. You got 4 services to choose from.
That's awesome.
Make it
That's
happen.
awesome. Yeah.
So, and I do it so you can watch it online. And so I still stay connected, to the fellowship, whether I watch it online or go sit there next, to the, in the church. But you still have to, be involved. Right. I have a weekly radio show, and I end the show every time and say, hey, get out and do random acts of kindness for your fellow man. Whatever that is. And if we do that, just something special every day to somebody, just a little random act of kindness. So we just coming out of the Christmas season and we sing all those songs, spread that Christmas cheer all year round. Do you really? Or just when it's Christmas time? So if we're giving that of ourselves all year long and then it comes Christmas time, it's Christmas. It should just be a continuation of the way you want to live each and every day. You don't just set an example when the camera's on or people around. That's when you use true character. When nobody you think is watching you, they're watching you.
Right. It's more blessed to give than it is to receive.
College, my parents told me, as far as decision making, just think, what would I think about what you're about to do? So when I'm in school and college, like, what my mom and dad think about this? Now I wasn't perfect, far from perfect.
None of us were.
That kept me out of a lot of different things. Yeah. Like, man, if mom and dad found out about this, should I do this or should I not do that?
Right.
And we didn't have the internet back in those days.
No.
But you like.
So you might have got away with it.
I may have got away with it. But it goes back to identity. Who are you?
Right.
And I think America has an identity crisis. People have an identity crisis. They don't know who they are. Who are you? So they want to be somebody else. They want to see what they're seeing on television or there's that trend, and if more people remember who they are and what they're brought up to be. So we as parents have to do that. You know, you have kids, I have kids, I'll be a grandfather this just coming May.
Oh, first time? First grandchild? Oh, I got, let me see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got 6 grandchildren. I got to count.
Yes. 6 grandkids.
I got 6. Look, one of them 17 years old.
Oh, my.
I got a 17-year-old grandson, man. My first grandchild, he's 17 years old. You see all this gray hair, right?
I see. Well, I can't wait.
Congratulations, bro. There's nothing like it. When's the baby due?
In May.
In May?
So I don't know the exact date, but sometime in May. My son living in Florida now. He's in Port St. Lucie. Whenever the baby get there, he's gonna get Grandpa gonna be doing some kidnapping.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of time.
Listen, them grandbabies is something special, man. You get to spoil them and give them back to the parents.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, give them back. We hold on to them for a while, and they're cool when they don't move a whole lot. When they're first born, they can't say a whole lot. They can't do a whole lot. They just lay there. That's cool. Yeah, they just lay there. You hold them.
Just exude that love on them.
Yeah, you hold them and kiss on them and hug and love them and smell them because they smell like a baby. They smell good like a baby. But then they get older, man. Okay, y'all come and you stay like 3 hours, then you go back to your parents. 3 hours. Listen, some of my grandchildren.
I'm looking forward to getting to that.
Yeah, 3 hours, I'm done because I'm like, I can't be chasing you all over the place.
I need my house back.
Sit down. They don't raise them the same way, man.
House all over again.
Yeah, man. So listen, when we were, I'm gonna jump forward. When we were playing together, I believe it was 1994. I'm shifting to football now. Because you said you have a radio show. Talk about your radio show a little bit. That what you're doing now?
Yes, I have a weekly show every Monday at noon here in Dayton. I have it on this Keith Byars show that I do. You can get it online, wingam.com, 1410wingam.com. You can find it.
Okay, Wing AM.
Win.
Oh, Win AM. Okay.
WING.
Gotcha.
And then on Sundays, I do a show from a local restaurant here during the football season. You know, we do a pregame show to get to here in Ohio. We got to talk about the Bengals and the Browns and what else is going on in the NFL and what happened in the Ohio State game on Saturday. Okay. You know, but now the football season's over with. I just do that through the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got enough things, you know, locally, and I'm on radio. Then football season is my busiest time.
Right.
I'm on television calling the game of the week, high school football game of the week on Thursday nights.
Really?
And I do radio game of the week on Friday night.
Okay, big dog.
I'm a football lifer.
Yeah, that's nice. You know, that is great. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. I mean, I do kind of the same thing. I've got this podcast that I do. I have another podcast that I do on Thursdays called Vetted with Hollis Thomas. He and I do it together, and it's an Eagles-focused podcast. But obviously, it's going to be all year long, so we'll be looking at college and potential draft picks and all that kind of stuff during the off season. I do another podcast with Michael Timpson and Fred Barnett on Wednesday called Wow. It's called Wow. Wide Outs. Wow. Yeah, it's called Wow. Wide Outs World. Yeah, it's called Wide Outs World. And that's
Wide Outs World in this NFL day.
Yeah, man. And so we do that all year long as well. So I got 3 podcasts that I'm doing. And it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I got into this podcasting technology when COVID hit. Probably just like you did, or you probably did it before, and it's been great. It's been great. So I wanted to bring this up now that I know that you know what's going on. When we played together, I think it was my second year with the Dolphins. Dan Marino returned after his Achilles rupture. We had a great season going. We were 9-2, and correct me if it wasn't my second year there. Maybe it was the third year.
It was your first year. We were 9-2.
Was it my first year?
Yeah.
Was it my first year? Okay. We had a great season.
Scott Mitchell paid.
We got, and I say the same thing. We got Scott Mitchell paid. But Scott Mitchell went to Detroit and didn't do nothing because he didn't have us. He got all that money and went there and was a bust. Why? Because he didn't have all of us to throw the ball to.
Fryer and Jackson Ingram and Byars. No.
That's right. Should have took us with him and paid us as well.
OJ not coming too.
11 games into the season, we're 9-2, and we didn't win another game for the rest of the season. I referenced this quite a bit because of the Eagles. I've been doing that lately. We didn't win another game the rest of the season, and we didn't make the playoffs because we lost the rest of the games during the season. But during that time, we still played hard. We still fought. We still showed up. It wasn't like we got our backs busted in. It wasn't like we embarrassed ourselves. We just lost for whatever reason. We went on a losing streak.
Defense couldn't stop nobody. We just had 7-0 at the coin toss.
Well, that was the case when we were winning. They couldn't stop anybody when we were winning. we never did have a good defense. But I'm sure you follow the Eagles a little bit, given the fact that you played for the Eagles and this whole slide that they went on. There's a lot of talk right now going on. Mr. Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, is having a conversation or meeting with Nick Sirianni, who's the head coach of the Eagles. They supposedly had a meeting today, and something probably happened recently in the next few hours ago that I probably don't know what happened. But I'm going to get on the radio and listen here after we get off the podcast. But talk about that, man. What do you think about the Eagles? What do they need to do? And then when you finish that, we'll talk a little bit about these upcoming playoff games this coming weekend, and then we'll get off the air.
But what I've been doing, even when we was playing, during the off season, when to have a good regular season, it starts in off season.
Right.
I've never seen a team have a bumpy, shaky off season, and you still have a great season, regular season. It doesn't happen that way. So you kind of, you go back to the off season prior to '93 season when they bring in Fryar, they bring in Byars, they bring in Mark Ingram. We draft O.J. McDuffie. You got Keith Jackson, you got Marine. The Dolphins have a great off season,
right?
And we're set up for a great regular season. Dan Marino gets hurt. But we still offensively, we got enough weapons to overcome that. But they didn't address the defense. I didn't mention one free agent defensive player that the Dolphins signed that year.
Right.
And that caught up to you, caught up to us at the end. Even when we were losing those 5 games in a row, the offense wasn't losing production.
Right. We still were scoring.
We had 4 Pro Bowlers, for the offensive side of the game.
Right.
So we were still producing, but we don't play defense. We can't stop anybody.
Right.
But one thing that we did have that the Eagles didn't have this year was an identity. We knew we were an offensive team going into that '93 season. We knew if we was going to win, we needed to have offense.
Outscore everybody.
And the defense had so many injuries that year. A healthy defense, we'd have been good enough to make the playoffs. A healthy, it can slow them down defense, we're Super Bowl champions that year. But, we didn't. So now you fast forward to today, the Eagles go to the Super Bowl last year. But every year is different.
Right.
Every year
got to start all over again.
You have to reset and say, what is our identity? Who are we going to be this year? Yes, we wanted last year's over. But you still need an identity during the off season that you identify with, and you go on and during the regular season, you go on and play to that identity. Everybody has to have a role on the team. You have to don't like your role, but you have to accept your role if you want to be successful.
Right.
You look at the Eagles of 2022, everybody accepted their role. Everybody went out and did the job, and they was all rowing in the same direction. They go to the Super Bowl. If you could have one stop away from being Super Bowl champs. And that's why it hurts. You've lost a Super Bowl before. I've lost a Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
And you lost in the playoffs. That's why it hurts so bad to lose in the playoffs. Because you know how hard it took to get there.
Right.
And it takes a few weeks, almost, or maybe even a couple of months to come down off that loss. Because because we know how training camp is going to be here for we got to go through that same grueling season, the regular season, to get back here.
Right.
And now can we get, so it's a lot of mental, physical energy that leaves your body. You got to go back through it again.
Right.
So when the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl last year, they knew, oh my gosh, anything less than getting back in the Super Bowl is going to be something hanging around our neck. So we got to reset. What is our identity? it felt good to go on that Super Bowl run last year. But it was a whole lot of work that took us to get there, and a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of things got to go on. Yes, okay, we can do it. And I never really got a focus on this season, the 23 edition of the Eagles, because I asked that question of every team every year with that, who are you going to be?
Right.
And
right.
And then over the course of that season, any season, you hit your high point and you hit your low point.
Yep.
Hopefully you start off low and you just keep ascending.
Yes.
And then when you hit the peak, how long can you stay at the peak? 2, 3, maybe a month. And then you don't have to drop down like a lead balloon, but then you want to, you don't.
You got to at least level off.
Yes. Yeah. But and just maintain after a while. You can't maintain that peak. But you have to do it. And the Eagles hit their high point at 10-1. That was the best football they played.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean the season's going to be over. I mean, 12 and, you can still win. 12-5 ain't all bad. 13-4. But, my gosh, they just ran, because you look back earlier, they started off 2-2. They could have been 0-4. They could have been 4-0. And it's just like, come on, Eagles. I mean, no, not 2-2. They start off.
They were
3-1. 6.
No, they were. They didn't lose their first game.
They didn't lose
to
week 7 or 6.
Yeah, it was 5. I think it's 5-1, 6-1, something like that.
5-1, something like that. Yes. And they leveled off. They hit their high point too soon. But the bottom just dropped out.
Wow, but I've never seen anything like that before because I think when you look at all of the teams in the NFL, even Tampa Bay, they got their backs beat in by Tampa Bay last week, and in the middle of the season, and Tampa Bay's not a good team.
Before they played Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But I mean, and Tampa Bay was ascending. They were ascending. They won 5 out of their last 6 games. The Eagles lost 5 out of their last 6 games. But in the middle of the season, as other teams did, San Francisco lost 3 games in a row. The Bills started off, like you said, early in the season. They weren't playing very well. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they went in a stretch in the middle of the season. They lost 7 out of 9 games in the middle of the season. Then they went on a streak. And all these teams were able to come back from their lull. They were able to get the train back on the track. The Eagles weren't able to do that for whatever reason, and that's why all the talk is going on about new coach and obviously new coordinators and all that kind of stuff. So I was just interested in hearing your insight about that whole situation.
Go back to identity. Never seen it before. You changing defensive coordinators in the middle of the season.
Crazy.
Who are you?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who are you?
But then again, that's why maybe the coaches need to be changed because if Sirianni, the head coach, is changing defensive coordinators. And when he changed defensive coordinators, listen, they were already going downhill defensively. They started going downhill turbo speed when they changed defensive coordinators because it got really bad. I mean, just crazy bad.
But you look at it this way. Look at it from a parent standpoint. Whenever you chastise your kids, and whenever I chastise my kid, somewhere coming out of my mouth, who are you? We don't act like that.
Right. Yes, sir.
You are a Byars.
Yes, sir.
You are a Fryar. Now I got to correct you to get you back in line.
Right.
This is who we are. The Philadelphia Eagles, that ain't Eagle football, not being able to tackle nobody.
Man, that's who are you? I can never in the history in my time in the NFL, 17 years, or even watching the Eagles when I was in high school and college, I can never really, and I'm sure they had some bad defenses, but I can never remember a time when the Eagles were not a defense that at least you had to reckon with.
I mean, you're hitting guys in the backfield, and they're still good positive yard fight.
No, there was a 56-yard touchdown from a receiver that was should have been a 6-yard gain. It ended up being a 50. Yeah. Ended up being a 56-yard touchdown, man. That's just ridiculous. So you remember what? What were you going to say?
No, I remember a coach when I was with the Eagles. He used to, special team coach. He used to say, either you can't do it or you won't do it. Either way, you can't be here. So if you can't do the job, you don't belong on this team.
I like that.
If you won't do the job, you don't belong on this team.
Gotta go.
You gotta go. So which one is you can't do it? You don't deserve to be on the team. You won't do it. You don't deserve to be here.
Right. Well, that's
tackling is an attitude.
Yes,
blocking is attitude.
Blocking, tackling is an attitude. Now, taking angles, that's fundamentals. Taking the right angles, because if a guy is right here, you can't run there if he's going that way. You got to run that way. Take the right angle.
That's Pee Wee 101.
I know.
Pursuit drills. Come on, you run where he's going, not where he was.
Well, they need some Pee Wee 101, KB, because they were messing up, man.
You can't do it. We don't need you here. If you won't do it, we don't need you here.
They were messing
Get
up.
out of here. It was hard to watch it.
Yeah, bro, I'm actually glad the season is over. And I'm saying this because we both played on the Eagles. I'm glad the season is over for the Eagles because it was hard to watch them particularly these last 4 games. The Giants game, the Arizona, oh my God, the Arizona Cardinals game. Arizona came in here and beat the Eagles down. And then for them to go down to
but the Eagles scored 31 points and lose. I mean, come on, man. I'll give you one defensive
no defense.
Stop, and we can
that sound like the Miami Dolphins when we were playing. We scored 31.
Yeah. but I'm saying, remember that year we was hoping we win the coin toss. At least we could be 7-0.
Yeah, we can go score
first.
The
coin toss. Oh shucks, we down 7.
We go down 7. Yeah, that's how it was. Because you're right. We could score, but we couldn't stop anybody. Our defense was our defense. It was fun in practice.
30 points and get beat by 20.
Yeah, it was fun in practice because we beat them down in practice. We could always beat them down in practice. They were no challenge in practice. My goodness. So we're gonna get out of here, man. So what's your game out of the games that are being played this weekend? So we got the Texans at the Ravens, we got the Packers at the 49ers, we got the Bucks at the Lions, we got the Chiefs at the Bills. Which game are you most interested in?
Well, I'm a football junkie. All of them. I'll be real brief.
He said all of them.
Yeah, all of them. I got to watch my boy from Ohio State University, C.J. Stroud. That boy,
bro, what about him, man? He is already special. He's already special.
But I don't crown anybody until you play 3 years in the league.
Well, I understand that. Because he can be special. I mean, we got Jalen Hurts is special. We got players that are special. But that doesn't mean you're going to last. That doesn't mean Gerard Phelan, who caught that Hail Mary. Apparently he was special. But you got to come in and you got to prove it over time.
He will not rattle against Baltimore. Baltimore may win the game, but he's not going to be shaken. So
no, he won't be shaken.
I wouldn't be surprised if Houston pulls it out. They shouldn't. But don't be surprised if they do. So I got that game. Who's tomorrow after that? Who's
Packers and 49ers. I'm not sure which days they play. Packers and 49ers.
No, the Packers they play 49ers tomorrow.
Packers at the 49ers.
And
Love.
Packers,
Jordan Love. That Love cat, listen, the Packers, what's so exciting to me about the Packers is they have the youngest team in the league right now. So they're going to do nothing but get better. We're seeing them play well right now. They're in the playoffs. They may not win. I don't think they have enough to be defensively to be able to corral Christian McCaffrey.
Samuel and Christian
well,
McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey in himself, just him, he's the best back in the league right now. All-Pro, first-team All-Pro this year. I don't think they have an answer for him. And then when you add Debo and you add Ayuk, I think was it Ayuk they have?
Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah, Ayuk. Yeah. You add Ayuk in, he's playing well. When you add those cats in, I don't think that the Packers have enough defensively to slow them down. And remember, everybody keeps dogging Purdy. They keep saying, well, he's a system quarterback. And well, okay, he's in a system where he's the number 1 quarterback right now.
Yeah, all quarterbacks are system quarterbacks.
Yeah, hello.
They say that like that's a bad thing.
Yeah, but and then the 49ers have a week off.
Need to win the turnover battle. If they win the turnover battle, they got a good chance.
Well, yeah.
If they lose the turnover battle, they're going to get blown out.
Of course. Yep.
And Detroit against Tampa Bay, the Motor City is hot right now.
Yeah, I think
that city's electric.
The Fugazi is over now with Tampa Bay. They're gonna go in there and get blown out.
Yes. I mean, they was trying to give it to the Eagles. They should have scored 50 on the Eagles if they could catch the ball.
If they could catch the ball, right. You're right.
They dropped more. They should have scored 50 on the Eagles.
But I think they're going to get
that dog won't hunt against Detroit. And Detroit, this is their special year. I'm all out of the way, Cam. I'm gonna take coaching area.
And then
so
you got,
I have Detroit winning that game, and then the nightcapper, Buffalo and Kansas City.
No, Kansas City's in Buffalo.
No, I mean with them two teams play.
Yeah,
Kansas City got to go to Buffalo.
Yeah. Now you know Patrick Mahomes has never played a playoff game outside of Candlestick Park.
I know.
I mean, not Candlestick.
5 years in a row of at Arrowhead.
Arrowhead. I said Candlestick. What's a Candlestick? Arrowhead. Yeah. He's never played a playoff game outside of Arrowhead. Yeah.
They're like, where's Candlestick Park?
Yeah, where's Candlestick Park? He's never played a playoff game outside of Arrowhead. He's always been home. He's
finally going on the road.
This is his first playoff game on the road.
First road playoff game?
Yes, this is his first road play. You know, they've been hot over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, they've been the number one seed 5 years in a row.
Right. He's never had a playoff game outside of Arrowhead. He's going away.
But he's still going to be special. It's just I think you can go out there and catch a pass better than their receivers.
Yeah, well, they drop them, man. They just they're ridiculous.
They can't get enough they'll throw on the ball for them boys, man.
If they caught half the balls, they would have been the number one seed. Again. They caught half the balls they dropped, which is ridiculous. I was watching some game they were playing. Man, those cats dropped like 6-7 balls. I'm like, what in the world?
Catchable balls. We talking about
right in the hands. Right in the hands.
I'm like,
yeah. Between the numbers,
all
balls.
I have to do is throw it. I can't give it to you.
Just unbelievable. But they were impressive last week playing in the cold like that. And it didn't seem to affect them in any kind of way. You know as well as I know, catching the ball, and they didn't drop them last week. Catching the ball in the cold like that ball is hard as a rock. And
hey, but you saw the Dolphins come out there, all they linemen got sleeves on. I'm like, they done.
Yeah, they done. You knew that when they came from Miami, you knew they were gonna get in that cold. They were gonna fake like like it didn't bother them, but yeah, they were done.
See, they needed some Irving Fryar and Keith Byars and Mark Ingham's on the team in Jackson. Remember we went to Dallas on Thanksgiving, it was snowing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was like, woo.
I was trying to put that because they got the highlights up on YouTube on the snow game when you did Snow Angel. You did the Snow Angel.
I'm the original Snow Angel, by the way. The NFL need to give me my percentages.
They got it all.
Back to Miami, they thought I was having a fit.
They got it all over YouTube, man. The whole touchdown, and you doing the Snow Angel in the end zone in Dallas, man.
But nobody done a Snow Angel prior to me.
Wow.
All these Snow Angels and confetti, and they got it from that play.
Wow.
They didn't give me my percentages. You can't find nobody doing the Snow Angel prior to that.
Yo, listen, you all got to go to YouTube, search, not YouTube. Well, you can go to YouTube, Go to YouTube, search Keith Byars. You see his name right there on the screen, KEITHBYARS. And
the Dolphins in Dallas.
Yep, Dolphins, Dallas.
Thanksgiving
game. It snowed. And that's when the old Dallas Stadium, so check it out, y'all. In that game, it snowed. So Dallas, the top of their stadium was open, and it was pretty much the same size as the football field. So the football field has snow on it. The sidelines didn't have any snow on it because it snowed straight down. So we're on the sidelines, not in the snow, but when you went on the field, there was snow on the field. That was crazy.
It hasn't snowed in Dallas on Thanksgiving since.
That was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had in my life. To stand on the sidelines and to look up and see the snow coming down into the stadium, but it's only sticking on the field. That was.
Who was the first person to jump on me when almost didn't let me do my Snow Angel?
That was me.
You?
Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry.
Hold on, Irving, I got a Snow Angel.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were gonna do the Snow Angel. If you had told me, I'd left you alone. But like you said, when one of us scored,
we could have both did a Snow Angel at the same time.
Well, you should have told me to get down there and do Snow Angel. I ain't thinking about no Snow Angel, man. I was just happy we scored. Shoot, we was whooping that tail. Shoot, Thanksgiving Day, everybody watching too. Shoot. That's all I was thinking about. Well, look, Kay, it's good, man.
I could talk to you for hours, man.
Yes, sir. Yep, but we ain't going to talk for hours. We're going to talk for hours in private.
Yes, indeed.
We gonna stay in touch, man. I'm gonna holler at you, all right? Happy New Year to you, man. Make sure you stay in touch and make sure you hit me up, man, when that grandbaby comes.
Absolutely. Certainly will.
All right.
Certainly will.
All right, bro.
All right, bro.
I love you, man. Appreciate you. Thanks
for
being on today. All right, I'll holler at you. That's my dude right there. Keith Byars in the house. It don't get no better than that, y'all. It just don't get no better than that. I mean, I know we're talking about things that we've experienced together, but that's what it's all about. That's why the Fryar Place, we have conversations that are fire. They're genuine, they're unique, they're relational, and just straight 100. Appreciate it. Listen, I see a bunch of y'all. What's going on, Kevin Cox? He says, has everyone remembered to hit that thumbs up like button? Yeah. Listen, everybody who's watching right now, make sure you hit the like button, hit that thumbs up here at the Fryar Place. Vincent Capriati's in the house. Shout out to you. Florence Oakman. Shout out to you. Keenan Jenkins. The Eagles defense was embarrassing to watch this season. Yes, they were. I'm going to put that on the screen. The Eagles defense was embarrassing to watch this season. Yes. Thomas Warner. Hey, he said 1990s legends. Yes, KB, Irving Fryar. Listen, I appreciate all of you. Bob Penza is in the house. What's going on, Bob? How are you, man? Long time. Happy New Year to you. I think we conversed with one another via text message for the new year, or was it on social media? I don't remember. But God bless you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for watching today. Bob Hilberg, what's going on? Is that Hildberg? Yes. This is awesome. Thanks. Alvin Oakman, Uncle Chucky. Stu Winrose in the house. Gary Wright. My sister Hope Wiley is in the house. My mama, she said, good to see you, Keith. He's gone now, Mom. I'll let him know that you said hi. Darren Doc Thomas. What's going on, Doc? Shout out to you. Did I say Gary Wright? And Cheryl Williams. Shout out to both of you. Let me see who else is on here. Howard Taylor, Pastor Taylor, God bless you. Thanks for listen, this brightened up my day. I was dragging a little while ago. I've been working all day. I went to the gym this morning. I was expecting when I got up this morning at 3:45 a.m. that it would be snowing, and I could take a day off from the gym, but it wasn't snowing, so I couldn't take a day off from the gym, so I went to the gym. So I've been up early this morning, and man, I was sitting here waiting for Keith to come on. I think I fell asleep. I think I fell asleep during the while I was waiting for him to come on. It was crazy. And I woke up, it was 5 o'clock. Where's my I'm looking for cricket. Yeah, that's what was that's what was going on with me early. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm chilling. I'm tripping right now. But yeah, this has been invigorating for me. You all on, signing in, having a conversation with Keith. You all watching, putting your comments in the comments section. Thank you. Appreciate you. Billy Bell, Gary Wright, shout out to you. And that's it. I think I mentioned everybody. So listen, y'all, we're going to be back next week, same time, same place, same purpose, to have a conversation that's fire with a new guest next week. Michael Lott is in the house. God bless you too, Bob Penza. Michael Lott is in the house. I think next week our guest is going to be my technician who does my engineering for me when we do our show live at the Cigar Code. Her name is India Delgado. She's going to be on next week. That's going to be a conversation that's pretty fiery. Yeah, pretty hot because she's very knowledgeable. She's got her own thing going on. She's in the banking. Yeah, she's got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a great conversation. So listen, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notifications button so that anytime we come on, I know we changed our time from 12 noon to now we're 6 p.m. on Fridays. Remember, the first Friday of every month, try to do it that way it's easy for you to remember. The first Friday of every month, we are live at the Code in Philadelphia, the Cigar Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every first Friday of the month. Live guests, live audience at the Cigar Code in Philadelphia. Then the second, third, fourth, and if there's a fifth Friday of the month, we're here in the studio. Here. Yeah. At the Fryar Place. Yep. India's going to be on with me, Kevin. Next week, it's going to be fire. You want to be on. I think Aren't you Kevin Cox? You look familiar. I think you're in the ECAM community, aren't you? Are you or are you not? I'm going to wait a second and wait for your response. But I believe I've seen you in the ECAM community. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. But anyway, that's the software we use, y'all. ECAM. We're using ECAM to go live. But anyway, I'm going to see y'all next week. I'm trying to wait for Kevin Cox to respond. Kevin, respond real quick. I know it takes a second for you to come up. You are on YouTube at the Fryar Place. Wait a second for you to respond. ECAM or no ECAM? I believe you are ECAM. All right. Doesn't look like he's going to respond. Oh, there he is. Yes, connected via ECAM community and KP page. Yep, Keith Pelzer. I thought I recognized you, Doc. I appreciate you, man. I follow you. I'm going to follow you. If I'm not following you already, I think I do follow you, though. That's why I recognized you, because I watched you do some informative stuff on ECAM and on YouTube. But thanks anyway, man. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. Continue to support. I don't know if you're in this area or not. If you are, come on and stop by. Any of you who are in this area, the tri-state area, Delaware, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or New Jersey, stop on in first Friday of every month at the Cigar Code, 6 to 7. We're there with a live guest. Our guest February is going to be none other than Mike Quick. Yep, Mike Quick. WIP, the game analysis for the Eagles. He does the color commentating for the Eagles games. Been doing it for like 28 years now. Former NFL wide receiver, former Eagle wide receiver, former record holder up until last year with the Eagles. My friend, he's going to be with us live first Friday in February. Don't miss it. All right, y'all. I'm out. Talking too much. Yeah. San Francisco. Was that San Fran Bay? Okay, you're in the San Francisco Bay Area here, but know some people in Philly. All right. Well, we appreciate you all the way across on the other side, hooking up with us live, virtual. Appreciate you, Kevin Cox, and we appreciate everybody else for watching, for supporting. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notifications button. We'll be back next week. All right, y'all? We're out of here.